Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Param Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviram Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We saw yesterday the Lakshana characteristics of Jivan Mukta. The Bhagavad Gita, summing up the Lakshana of the Jivan Mukta in the second chapter, Lord Krishna says, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. Nisha means night. That which is night. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutana. One of these cryptic but very lovely verses. That which is night. Ya Nisha. For whom? Sarva Bhutana. For everybody. Tasyam. In that night. Tasyam Nishayam. In that night. Jagarti. Jagarti means is awake. Who? Samyami means the wise person. One who has Sanyama. This Samyami is awake. Just the translation. Very intriguing. And then Yasyam Nishayam, in which night Yasyam Jagrati, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, in which time the people are all awake, which is daytime for people, in which people are awake, then the Jnani is snoring, fast asleep. Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. Muni, Mananashilatvat Muni, the one who is of a contemplative nature. Sometimes one can be contemplative. One practices sitting quietly and not opening the eyes. You can practice that. But here, Pashyataha means the seeing one. Seeing one means the one who sees the reality as himself, herself. For that person, there is that which is day for all the beings is night for the Jnani. That in which the Jnani sleeps is daytime for everybody else. From this, what do we conclude? Jnani was owl in his or her last life, nocturne. No, we can't take this verse literally. So we have to understand the figurative meaning. And what is the figurative meaning? That if that Yasyam Nishayam like this, that for the word that we have to qualify something. What do we have to put? In that reality in which all beings are awake is as good as night time for the Jnani, because there is no interest. And what is the reality in which people are awake? One of pursuits, various pursuits. Go here, go there, get this, get that. And then do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Pravritti, nivritti, shreyas, and then pray for us. Okay? If you choose prayers, that means you're asking people, pray for us. Prayers means pleasing. But then this is something else. So, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, the reality in which the people are awake and in what is that? In action, not inaction. In action, devoted to action. So in that reality, the jnani is snoring. The jnani is not interested in that reality. The reality of mall. What is mall? What is mall? Shopping complex. Yeah. How do you spell it? MAUL. Where you go to be mauled of your wallet and your sanity. Okay, both. So these malls, the jnani is not interested in. Because jnani has mal. What is that mal? Mal means possession of the treasure. Mal means treasure. Jnani is not interested in mal because jnani has mal. What is the mal? The treasure? Atma jnanam. Reveling in one's own glory. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. That is why the jnani is not interested in mal. Mal, ball, all these things. Ball means some dancing. Yeah, dancing, ball. That also we have to change the spelling. B-A-W-N. Yeah. Or the B-R-A-W-N. That which leads to a brawl. Yes, that is what is ball. Because we have to see the reality of it. Just like the jnani is seeing the reality of it. Jnani is not interested in malls, balls. Let them take place. I'm not interested. Why? Because in the wake of knowledge, these desires have dropped. That is what the power of this knowledge is. Even the most recalcitrant and the stubborn desires just drop. You will yourself see by month number 5 of the 6-month course, all the things and the people that used to bother you in month number 1 now no longer bother you. Yes, it happens naturally. The more one applies to this knowledge, more vairagya comes. The more you see the reality, and that reality which is you is so beautiful. Why would you want to live anywhere else? You want to be at home with yourself. This is what it is. And when you are at home with yourself, you are at home anywhere. No problem at all. And so suddenly something happened. It's more of a growing clarity. After month number 1 of the 6-month course, one thinks, I'm getting, I think of how I was last month. I have grown. Month number 2 will say, oh, that was nothing. This is the growth. Look at me now. Everybody look. And then month number 3, oh, that was nothing. Like this, it's a growing clarity. A growing clarity which brings instantaneous changes in the everyday vyavahar. This is self-mastery. So as one grows in self-mastery, there's only one thing that is not controllable. Everything else one can manage. One's anger one manages, one's fear one manages, one's insecurity is managed until it is dropped in the wake of knowledge. Only one thing becomes unmanageable. What? The flowing compassion. This is what Pujya Swamiji would say. Only one thing I have no mastery over. What is that? Uncontrolled compassion. This is what it is. This is what being a jnani is. Compassion. So then on the flip side, into that reality, unto that reality where all the other beings are what? Sleeping. Which is that reality? Tattvamasi, Mahavakya. You just try an experiment. This evening when you go for a walk, just tap the shoulder of somebody and say, would you like to hear how you are the most glorious being on earth? And they'll say, yes, maybe after I have Pani Puri, then I will listen to you. People are more interested in miracles. That's why so many sadhus perform miracles. Because that's the way to at least that can become a stepping stone coming to something. Because when the person, the person who is little bit interested in spirituality and the questions of who I am and all this, is having so many things that are wrong. So many things that are wrong. And so Mahavakya is very, very far away. Why Mahavakya? Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. We learnt about all this 2 lifetimes ago. Okay, yeah. So these are all qualifications. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, same thing. 2 lifetimes ago, we studied all this, and then the forget all that. Even that's far away for this person. The person is only interested in the immediate relief of their pains and sorrows. That's why the Mundakopanishad at the end says, Atma hi archayet bhutikamaha. Bhutikamaha means what? The one who is interested in material gains. Oh, archayet, may that one who is interested in short-term material gains, may that person worship. Who? Atmajnani. This is very confusing. I thought I had to worship Atmajnani for gaining Atmajnanam. Here, even if I don't want Atmajnanam, I am told to worship Atmajnani. Why? Because the Atmajnani does not need anything else, has no agenda. So your worship goes directly to Bhagavan, and if the prarabdha is not too strong, the Atmajnani becomes a conduit for the deliverance of the pains and sorrows of all the people in the universe. That itself is a miracle. But even though the miracles are supposed to be just a stepping stone, an interim place of gathering trust, more often than not, the miracles become addictive. The people just want to stay in the miracles, forgetting that the greatest miracle is the transformation of this sad person into a jolly person. The transformation of this individual, this jaded, faded jiva, without any, what's the word for it? Without any recourse, constantly complaining, constantly the source of discontent, discovers in herself, discovers in himself what? That I am the source of all joy. Is this not a miracle? Yes. And so the jnani here is the one who has undergone this miracle. So unto those people who sleep to this, who are asleep to this reality, the jnani is awake and enjoying this reality. All other realities are what? Not interested. The interim reality, the empirical reality, the reality of wanting to going places, seeing people, doing things, all this the jnani is asleep to. This is something we have to see. And then we also saw the 3 karmas from the standpoint of both ajnani and jnani. The ajnani keeps on repeating the karmas, which is why when somebody dies in India, we say departed. Not dead, departed for some other destination which we don't know, will come back. Vapas aayega, but departed for the time being. Dear departed. We say departed, it's an objective statement. The jnani, we don't say departed. What do we say? Mahasamadhi. What is the difference between samadhi and mahasamadhi? Samadhi is meditation from which you come back. Mahasamadhi, don't come back. Why? There is no reason to come back. There is nothing to come back. The physical body is left for all the devotees to worship and dispose of. Bury, usually the sadhu is buried, and then because there is no Agni, that's all. Because the Agni has been given up. For the sannyasi, Niragnihi Akriyaha, Nishkriyaha. Agni is given up. Agni is the connection to Bhagavan for us. That Agni which is received from the parents is passed on to the children. And then when the Vaidika dies, that Agni itself is used to burn the body. The body of the person practicing the Vedic tradition becomes the final offering unto that fire which he or she had kept lifelong. Olympic flame is nothing. This Agni is going on for thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years. It is just mind-boggling. This culture, this tradition is so deep. Absolutely deep. Then what do we have? Then we have this Akriya is not doing any karmas. So therefore the sadhu is buried. And then the body is left for everybody to see. What happens to the subtle body? Subtle body of the jnani goes back to the subtle element. Ihaiva sarve praviliyante kamaha. And the prana, etc., goes back to the subtle elements, mind, prana, etc., because it goes back to the elements. There is no reason for it to continue. Why? The Karana Sharira has been demolished even while alive. What is Karana Sharira? Ajnanam. Very good. Ignorance. Self-ignorance is the causal body. The self-ignorance gone, then there is no reason for the subtle body to function as a transportation system for all desires. Excess baggage of desires. No. Desires are not there. Transport is not needed. And the cause of birth is no longer there. So therefore, the Jnani was worshipped as Bhagavan while alive and continues to be worshipped as Bhagavan even after Mahasamadhi. But then here there is a small discussion about the text is very thorough. So there is a small discussion about what happens to the jnanis, jnanis karmas. So let us see. Now, Sanchitam kim, we saw that. Yeah. Prarabdham kim, that also we saw. Now, Agami. Bhogadeva Kshayah, we saw that. Agami. So first, before that, he says, Sanchitam karma brahmaiva ahamasmi iti nishchaya atmajnanena nashyati. With a certain knowledge, the unshakable knowledge, I am Brahman, then Sanchita karma goes. We also saw Sanchita karma goes. Why does the Sanchita karma go? Because I do it. The karma is mithya. Karma is mithya. And so I call out the mithya. I see that it is not satyam. And besides, I know that I am not a doer. If I am the doer, then there will be guilt. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papamakaram iti. This guilt will be there. How I didn't do the right thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I do the wrong thing? All this is not there. Why? Because the jnani knows I am akarta. If I am akarta, I am also abhokta. We know that story very well of Lord Krishna sitting at the banks of Yamuna. And so many people came. All the gopis came. He played with them, splashed water on them, tried to dance with them, all these things. Then they said, we need to go home. But the river is in flood, in spate. Please make this go away. I can't make this go away. Lord Krishna says, no, please help us. We have to go back home. We have to cross the river. Then he says, all right, go to the river and say, if Bhagavan Krishna is a Nitya Brahmachari, may the waters part of the angry Yamuna. Nitya Brahmachari means what? Forever celibate. Krishna, the Lord Krishna is very much married, has many consorts. And the gopis laugh out loud. LOL, they say. What is this? What is this? Here you were splashing water on me, one said. The other one said you were flirting with me. You were trying to catch me when I was running away. How can we say that you are a Nitya Brahmachari? Says, okay, ladies, you are welcome to spend the night here. I have no problem with that. No, we have to go back home. Okay, try the mantra. I have given you the mantra. We go to the edge of the river and say, oh, Mother Yamuna, if Krishna is a Nitya Brahmachari, please let the waters part. And the flood goes down, the waters part. This is akartritvam, as though karta, as though bhokta. Then again, when Rishi is sitting on the other side, and the parting instructions of Lord Krishna is that the Rishi hasn't eaten, go feed him before you go to your homes. The Rishi was sitting on a small island in the middle of this river, small little piece of land that was still there. So they went, they took food for the Rishi, and again they had the same problem, how to cross the rest of the river. And the Rishi ate everything they brought. And then he said, after belching, he said, go to Yamuna and say, if the Rishi has not eaten even one grain of rice, let the Yamuna part. They rolled their eyes, but they did as they were told because they had already had one instruction. And they said the same thing. And even though the Rishi had eaten, his stomach was full, eaten to his heart's content, still the waters parted. This is the jnani. Karma doesn't touch because one is no longer identified as either karta, doer. So in Krishna's instance, we see akartrutvam. That's why two examples are given. In Rishi's example, we see what? Abhoktrutvam, not abhokta. Bhokta means consumer, karta means doer. Neither a doer nor an experiencer is the jnani. The doing is falsified. So whatever is accrued in terms of the karma is nashyati, is destroyed. How is it destroyed? By this very knowledge, I am not the doer. Then what about agami karma? Agami karma api jnanena nashyati. Kincha agami karmanam नलिनी दलगत जलवत् ज्ञानिनां संबंधः नास्ति. The agami karma is also born by the knowledge I am not the doer, I am not the experiencer of my doings. Mind you, this knowledge only comes after dharma has been mastered. If you give it to somebody who is adharmic, it will become a defense. The serial killer can say in the court, I am not guilty, Your Honor. How? By way of the fact that I am akarta. I have not done this murder. Why? Because Gita says I am akarta. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So you can't do all this. Because here the person who is a jnani is an embodiment of dharma. Only then you can become a jnani. That is why all these prerequisites are given. So naturally they will not cross dharma and they will not accrue even agami karma. But some possibilities are there. Some small papa, yesterday we discussed, like stepping over an insect or going to bhiksha to somebody's house. He doesn't know. She doesn't know. Jnani doesn't know whose house it is. They invite with a lot of reverence. Jnani goes to this person's house. And then after eating, finds out that the host was mafia boss. And so, paparjitam. So, papena arjitam means everything that was gained was through papa. And these small things were there. That's why the sadhus have all these rules. Where to eat, whose house not to eat. If you go to somebody's house for food and the people have been fighting or people are crying, We just are supposed to say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and walk out. Bless them and walk out. Do not eat in such places when there is fight or when they are emotionally overcome by something. So like this, all these rules are there. Despite following the rules, there will be some problems. Some papa may be there, but even that does not touch the jnani. Like Nalini Dalagata Jalavat. Very nice poetic here. So Nalini, lotus. Dala, petal. Dalagata, obtaining on the petal. What? The jala. Droplet of water. When it is there on the lotus leaf, what happens to that? Nothing happens. It just falls away. We also have an English saying for that, like water off a buffalo's back. Buffalo has thick, shiny skin. Even if it's standing in the rain, it is dry. Teflon skin. So Jnani is Teflon for karma. Teflon means non-stick. Yeah, non-stick. No karma sticks. Like non-stick cookware, Jnani is. Karma does not stick. Agami karma does not stick. Prarabdha karma is not there for the Jnani from the standpoint of the Shastra and from the standpoint of the Jnani, because the Jnani identifies not as the body mind but as Brahman. But then this karma, we have studied that every karma has a result. Does it not? So Agami karma also the result will be there. And Jnani is not claiming the result, but the bank account result is there. A small papa Jnani has done, which cannot even be talked about, small things. But still, where does it go? Very interesting. Then the next verse says, Kincha ye jnaninam stuvante bhajanti archayanti tan prati jnani kritam karma agami punyam gacchati ye jnaninam nindanti dvishanti dukkha pradhanam kurvanti tan prati jnani kritam sarvam agami kriyamanam yad avachyam karma papatmakam tad gacchati suhridah punyakritam durhridah papakrityam grinhati. Very interesting. So the Jnani is not only doing accidental papa, which is agami karma, but also is doing lot of punya. Each time one teaches Vedanta class, there is so much punya one accrues. Even sitting in Vedanta class, you are also accruing punya. That is nice. So, teaching Vedanta class, punya. Doing something good for the world, punya. Punya, punya, punya. The Jnani has so much punya. Does the Jnani want any punya? No. So then the punya goes to the people who worship, ye bhajanti, who worship, ye stuvanti, who praise the Jnani, who worship the Jnani, who praise the Jnani. All these people get the punya. That's when even in the rural areas they have not studied Tattva Bodha. So many people don't know what is Tattva Bodha, they don't understand. But still this part they know. And whenever Pujya Swamiji used to go into the rural area, as many times I have gone with him, they would not just touch the feet. They would milk the feet from the knee onward to the foot. Why? Because I'm taking away the punya and putting it on my head. But why is the punya in the feet? Think about it. It's the gravity. So, Jnani is standing up. The punya, little bit punya goes, then everything collects at the feet. So they would massage the feet, milk the feet. We had to form a human barrier and not allow them to do that after a while. After 3 hours of that, Swamiji's feet were pained. There was huge numbers of feet. But their belief was everything, all my problems will go away. So much Shraddha. And then there was all these babies flying in the air because they wanted the baby to be on Swamiji's lap, even for 1 second. This was in a place called Rajamundri. I can never forget this. So, is it in Andhra or Telangana? Telangana. Rajamundri, in those days it was not very big as it is now, I suppose. And so there in some rural area, there was one Kumbhabhishek. So I too had gone and I was just aghast what they were doing to Pujya Swamiji. But then, and then they would just look at me and look at their small baby, 9-month-old, infant. They would just throw with complete Shraddha that it will be caught by some of the people standing near Swamiji and it will go on his lap. So we were born like this baby catching ceremony. I never thought I would participate in. So like this, they so the punya, they want the punya. They want the punya from the jnani, so they massage the feet because they feel the feet is the foundation of the knowledge, and gravitationally speaking, everything settles at the feet. So you just make a beeline for the feet of the jnani. The people who are devotees of not just the jnani, but the devotees of this knowledge. And when you are studying this knowledge, you want punya. What do you want? Punya. When do you want it? Yesterday. This is how badly one wants punya, because one does not want any obstacles to take you away from this knowledge. No sickness should come. No, wrong thinking should come. No emotional blocks should come. No mental problems should come. Mind, body, everything should be for this knowledge. No misunderstanding should come. That's why I need prayer, I need punya. Jnani becomes an altar of prayer. That altar of prayer which has the power to alter me. So then all the punya of the jnani, which punya? Agami punya, goes to the students who are dedicated. What about papa? Ye jnaninaha nindanti. Nindanti means criticize. That's why better give the person benefit of doubt, because you don't want their papas. Even if supposing somebody were to say, oh, that fellow cannot be a jnani, look at how he behaves. But supposing he is a jnani, then what will happen? I will get the papa. So better not criticize anybody, because you don't know who is a jnani. This is a nice caveat to do that. So, ye jnaninam nindanti, dvishanti, misunderstand, hate, dukkha pradanam kurvanti. Dukkha pradanam kurvanti means they give the jnani sorrow. How do they give dukkha? They can't give jnani sorrow. They make the jnani's life difficult. How can you make a jnani's life difficult? You take away the few things they are depending upon. They are counting on something being there. Their asana, they are counting on. And you take away the asana and hide and look. Okay, let's see what she does. Let's see what he does. These are the kinds of small difficulties. You know the jnani is hungry and it is time to eat. You make sure there is no food around. Say all the food is finished. So these kinds of ways in which anybody who troubles the jnani, all the papa goes to that. Jnani kritam sarva agami kriyamanam yad avachyam. Avachyam means the that which cannot even be talked about. So, and then all the avachyam means all the things that people do to the jnani which cannot even be talked about, which is not worth talking about, that one. And then agami kriyamanam, that which is going to be done by the jnani, all the papas to the critics of the jnani, the critics of the jnani, and then this is what said, papatmakam tad gacchati, tan pratigacchati. Tan pratigacchati means ye jnaninam nindanti dvishanti cha. The one who keeps on, what is that, disrespecting the jnani. And then, therefore, suhridam punyakritam durhridam durhridah papakrityam grinhati. So then, the good results are taken up by the good-hearted people, and the bad results of the jnanis, papa, etc., small papa, are taken up by the difficult people. So then, I think something is missing in my text. Yeah. Okay, let's see where we go. Or maybe it is there. Is the next one Tatha? Yes. Yeah. Tatha. Tatha cha Atmavit Samsaram Preetitva Brahmanandam Ihaiva Prapnoti Tarati Shokam Atmavit iti Shrutehe. So, Tatha, in this manner, the knower of the self, Atmavit Samsaram Tirtva, crossing this world of becoming, crossing this world of discontent, crossing this world of pain, sorrow, etc. Samsaram Tirtva, then what happens? Brahmanandam Ihaiva, while living, Prapnoti. Tarati Shokam Atmavit iti Shrutehe. One of the sentences in the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, known as Bhuma Vidya. Bhuma Vidya. Atma here is called Bhuma. Why can't we call it Atma, so that there is a little bit of a change and people say, I know Atma Vidya, now I am going for Bhuma Vidya. That's why. To keep one alert, alive, interested, alive to this knowledge. That is why the Upanishad keeps changing the words. So in this Bhuma Vidya, Narada Sanat Kumara dialogue, Narada says to Sanat Kumara, Bhavadrishebhya, Bhavatsadrishebhya, by people like you, exalted people like you, Shrutam Maya, it has been heard by me. What has been heard by me? Tarati Shokam Atmavit iti, that the knower of the self crosses the sorrow. This has been heard by me, by people of your caliber. So, Tarati crosses sorrow, crosses all sorrow, crosses samsara. Why this knowledge makes the waters of samsara itself go away? In fact, there is nothing to cross. One stops being crossed. That's all. That's all the moksha is. And then he gives, this is the Shruti, this is the Jnana Phala being the last mantra here. Then he also gives Smriti thing. Tanum Tyajatuva Kashyam Shvapachasya Grihe Athava Jnanasam Prapti Samaye Muktah asau Vigatashayah iti smritescha. So the Smriti also, Shruti means primary text. Smriti means what? Smriti means the secondary text. So secondary texts like Puranas, etc. This must be from some Purana. We don't know. It doesn't give the thing here. We'll have to look it up. So there it says, Tanum Tyajatu, may the Jnani, whether the Jnani gives up the body. Tanum Tyajatu, whether the Jnani gives up the body, where? Kashyam. What is Kashyam? In Kashi, 7th case, Kashyam. Then Shvapachasya Grihe Athava, or maybe the Jnani dies away in the person who cooks and eats dogs. Shwapak. Dog cooker. Dog eater. I mean, dogs, it takes a certain kind of a absence of compassion to be able to go to the level of eating dogs, because they are so interactive, because you can see that they are alive and they are able to receive and give love. All these things are there. So it takes a certain kind of a person to be able to eat dogs. This dog eater even features in the Bhagavad Gita. Shunichaiva Shvapakascha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Samadarshinaha means they have equanimity. What is equanimity here? Equanimity means that whether one is talking about some wonderful things. Vidya Vinaya Sampanni, for the one who has Vidya, self-knowledge, which along with it goes Vinaya. Vinaya means humility. Brahmane Gavihastini, Shunichaiva Shvapake cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. So they have the same attitude towards everybody. Auspicious things, Brahmana, auspicious. Gavi, cow, with regard to the cow. Hastini, with regard to the elephant. Then dog and the cooker of the dog. They have the sameness of vision. That is what is called Pandita. So here also, since the Jnani has sameness of vision, it is, even though it's believed, if you have death in Kashi, what happens? You get moksha. Moksha, okay? If you don't have knowledge, you just get moksha, which is as good as mocha. You buy from Starbucks and drink, you're happy for half an hour. Here also you travel for half an hour. Okay. For half of something, a lifetime, maybe you travel. But the belief is that. So let the Jnani die in Kashi, or let the Jnani die in the house of a dog eater. No difference. Because the person is already free, doesn't need to go places, doesn't need to have these beliefs. That going here, going there, the person, since they are already free, Jnana Samprapti Samaye Muktaha, because the person was free when? Jnana Samprapti Samaye. While the gain of knowledge took place alone, the person was free. Therefore, Vigatashayah. Vigatashayah means that there is the person is free of any having ashaya. Ashaya means home. For everybody who is a sadhu, who has this knowledge, can be called Ageha Ananda, no home Ananda. Why? Because the person is at home with herself, at home with himself. No home Ananda. So no home Ananda can die in Kashi. No home Ageha Ananda can die in dog cooker's house. Doesn't matter where the person's death takes place. That is immaterial. Why? Because Jnana Prapti Samaye, the person was liberated, muktaha. Iti Tattva Bodha Samaptaha. So, but there is no samapti, there is no ending. This is always continuing. So we'll chant the prayer in the beginning now. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Bhidhiyate. So, I had invited some questions. Let's see how many we can get through. Could you please elaborate with relationship between vasanas and karma? Yeah, So vasanas means there will be impressions of certain desires, either from childhood or from previous lives, doesn't matter. Some strong desires and their impressions are called vasanas. What is the connection between vasana and karma? What is the connection? The vasanas exert pressure. In Sanskritam, the pressure is called vega. Shaknoti yaha ihaiva sodhum praksharira vimokshana ragadvesha kritam vegam. So this is also Bhagavad Gita says, the one who is able to let go of vega by the raga and dvesha. Before prak sharira vimokshanat means before the dropping of this body. The raga dveshas are not a problem. They can just be, and I can just watch them and say hello once in a while from a distance. Raga dvesha become a problem when they take over and sit on my head and say, when are you going to fulfill me? Now, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I want this now. I want this now. That is the problem. I cannot be then told, you have raga dveshas. Why? Raga dveshas have me. Then, so that is the connection between raga dvesha, vasanas and karma. And that's why the vasanas at the vasana level itself, we have to address them. Not at the karma level, because by that time it's too late. How can we reduce the identification with the body-mind sense complex? As long as all is well, I feel like I embody the teachings. Yeah. Doesn't everyone? Yeah. And then, and not identify. But as soon as something happens to the body, even though I remind to myself that I am Atma and not this body, still it is pretty challenging not to identify with the pain. Yeah. So it is challenging. Yes. That's why Bhagavan has given painkillers. Yeah. Take the painkillers. Have a little moksha from the pain. Once in a while, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And pray. And then do some things. Do some things that you're really interested in. And sometimes what happens, it helps to forget the pain sometimes. And then that becomes a example to know that, okay, I'm not just this body. Prayer helps. Dedicate the pain, let that pain go. Pain is not so much the problem, but the problem is that the pain overtakes just the body. If it's just a physical pain, then I treat it. But then it seeps through the senses, it seeps through the buddhi, it seeps through the ahankara. That's why the identity of the I as Atma seems to go away, because in the wake of why me? Why I have this pain? And then, especially if one knows something about karma, what karma must I have done? All that is useless to think about. Maybe it's a blessing in certain ways. We don't know. Like that minister of the king who had this annoying habit of saying everything happens for the best. The king hated this minister. Each time the minister said everything that happens for the best, the king was gnashing his teeth. In fact, it was a surprise that the teeth had not become powdered calcium by this time. They go for a hunt, and then immediately there is some tiger or something like that. The king running, falls down, escape the tiger. The king has a big cut on the toe. And annoyingly, what does the minister say? Maharaj, everything happens for the best. Shut up. My toe is hurting, my foot is hurting, my whole of my being is hurting. And then he very lovingly tends to this very deep cut and the blood and everything. And then uses his own upper cloth, Angavastram, tears it off and bandages. And then escorts the king to a safe place where they can sleep in the night. They are woken up by the heat. Ah, that's nice. They are encircled by a group of arms who thought breakfast in bed for us. We wake up and breakfast is here, right here. Yeah, because they don't try, because they are very health conscious. They only eat boiled things. So then I say, for our God, we have to sacrifice. And it has to be the most important person. Who is the most important person? The Mantri says, him, sir. Points to him. And the king is so annoyed. How dare you do this? Even people with less fealty, fidelity, loyalty are able to sacrifice their lives. You good for nothing fellow. Everything that happens best, Maharaj, happens for the best. Shut up. And then they take the king for him to undergo some ritual, abhisheka, etc. Because you're always going to think that you eat before you eat it, before you cook it. Yeah. He's taken for ritual abhisheka before he's put in the cauldron of boiling water. Then they say, big cut on the foot. In fact, half the toe is gone. What? What happened? Mantri says, well, we had a little encounter with a tiger. No, we can't. This is jhuta food. Means this is already eaten food. We cannot have this. And we can't have you because you're the second best. We want only the best. So they are let go off. So like this, everything is a blessing. Takes time to see it as a blessing. Right, yeah. So see what the pain is trying to teach you. Write about it, yeah. What exactly is moksha? Is it freedom from suffering? Freedom from the cycle of life and death? Good question. Very nice. So it is, what exactly is moksha? Freedom from suffering is moksha. And then when I'm free of suffering, then there is no reason to be born again because I don't have anything reserved to gain. There is nothing to gain that will make me feel complete. There is nothing to get rid of either so that I can become complete. That is moksha. We are not so bothered about cycles of life and death. We are more bothered about here and now. The dropping of not suffering, the dropping of the notion that I am subject to suffering, that is moksha. Freedom from that, that is moksha. Can you please elaborate on the elements and elemental differentiation? Yeah, I had used this word. Bhuta means elements. What are elements? 5 elements. Panchabhuta. Those are elements. And then in the model of the Shastra, everything is born of the 5 elements. We trace it back to 5 elements. Like even this body. So anything that is born of the 5 elements, bhutebhyah jatam, is called bhautikam. And the translation is elemental. Born of 5 elements. That's the difference. That was easy. What else? Gross elements can be imagined, but not subtle elements. That's why they are called subtle. Yeah. Can you give an example from day-to-day life to imagine this? Yes, we can do this. You see, what is outside is air, correct? And then you breathe it in. What is air now? Prana. That outside Vayu has become my prana. This is what we can do in meditation. As we prepare for the meditation, we can do this, or they can also be a meditation on prana itself as Atma. So we close our eyes and you can visualize the sensation of the cool air entering the nostrils. I can visualize all my organs getting oxygenated. All the toxins being drawn by this beautiful prana, which is a form of Bhagavan Ishvara. And then when each time I breathe out, I sense the warmer air. Warmer air is also a nod to the presence of Agni, which is the body temperature. And the warm air puts out all the toxins. I am not in charge of the breathing. Breathing happens. And when I am conscious of it, I see that in this breathing, in this prana, there is Bhagavan. The presence of Bhagavan is there in the subtle body as prana. This we can do. Keep on watching the breath. Keep on taking the sensations of the cool air entering the nostrils. Visualize Bhagavan cleaning up all the toxins in the body. And with every exhalation, I sense the warm air coming out, becoming again one with Vayu. Inhalation is Bhagavan. Exhalation non-separate from Bhagavan. And then when I do this for some time, I see that when I regulate the breathing, when I'm conscious of the breathing, the mind becomes very quiet. There is a connection between the breathing and the mind. So, and then when I open the eyes, I can see that this connection can continue. Nobody even has to know that I'm meditating. In the middle of the office, in the middle of anything, I can just focus on this prana as Ishvara. And then I can see that there is a connection between mind and prana. When the prana stabilizes, the mind also is very, very tranquil. So when anything disturbs me, I can go to this place of pacifying the mind. I don't even have to do it directly. I simply watch the breath. Watch Ishvara coming in and out through the nose, doing his job. And then the mind immediately relaxes and is tranquil. If Atma is non-doer, who is in this body? Before that, yeah. If Atma is non-doer and this body is Jada, inert, then who is the doer and enjoyer? Atma as though. Atma is the as though doer. Atma is the as though enjoyer. But this Atma here, it obtains as the one who is the boss of the body, mind, sense complex. What is that? Ahankara. Ahankara has to be made into the doer and the enjoyer. Ahankara avachinna chaitanya. So this chaitanya, which is as though conditioned by the I notion, is the one who says, this belongs to me. I am enjoying this. I did this. I want credit. That is the one who says that. Next one. This looks like a very good one. Can we force moksha to happen? Can I expose my mind to Vedanta so that Jnanam will take place? Or is it all dependent upon Bhagavan in the end? No. Moksha is not dependent on Bhagavan. It is dependent on you. That's why if you go to people would come to Pujya Swamiji with their horoscopes. And what would they say? They would ask only one question. Swamiji, please look at my horoscope and see if I will get moksha. Moksha is not prarabdha based. Moksha is what? Purushartha. That's why it is Purushartha. Otherwise, you can see the person's jataka, horoscope, and say, do not go anywhere near Vedanta. You can tell somebody. Why? Because it is no use. Other people can get moksha, but you poor things. No. It is never said. Even Valmiki, who was a serial killer, he gave moksha to many people. And he also gave vairagya to several others who made away with their life. Think about it. When he could be purified, what to talk of anybody else? Apichet suduracharah papebhyah papakrittamah sadhureva samantavyah. Bhagavad Gita will say, even somebody like the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the papis, if they gain this knowledge, that means they have done prayashchitta, that means they have seen and embodied dharma. That means it is possible, moksha is possible. And so that person must be considered a sadhu now because they have gained this knowledge. Samyak vyavasito hi saha sadhureva samantavyah. Like this, the Bhagavad Gita will say all this very beautiful. And so, moksha, you can't force moksha. You can force in the sense that you can pursue it avidly to the exclusion of other pursuits. Everybody else is forcing you to get married. And you say, I am forcing moksha. Possible. Yes. Advisable? Yes. But you have to be ready for it. Ready for it means you have to be ready for things that come in the way as well. And that time you can't say puk, familial pressures and this much and suddenly I want this, suddenly I want that. No, be brave. Work on yourself to drop all the other pursuits. If I can't drop, then pray. Pray for the pursuits to be dropped. Pray for mental clarity. Pray for emotional growth. Pray for not succumbing to pressures. In India, we have a special disease called what will they think-itis. Yes. What will they think if I do this? Let them give them the freedom to be who they are. This is what we do in meditation. You give the person the freedom to be who they are. Oh, but they are complaining about me. That's okay. Give them the freedom to complain about you. Give them the freedom to be disappointed in you. And then you keep this pursuit. It requires a lot of grace. Pray for that grace. And then the same person has one more question. What is that? Is the following prayer appropriate? Please, Bhagavan, let me accept that this world is not real. Let me accept that this body is not real, nor the thoughts, nor the feelings. Yes. In addition, I will also ask, please, Bhagavan, let me know the reality as the truth of you, as the truth of me. And one more prayer I would add to this is, O Lord, O Bhagavati, O Bhagavan, let there be more and more of you abiding in me, as me, and less of me. Less me, more you. This is the mumukshu's prayer. Less me means less subjectivity, less pressure, less anger, less smallness. More Bhagavan means more compassion, more sattva, more accommodation, more growth. That is what we want. Then, this question is regarding Jivan Mukta. Does the Jivan Mukta have akhandakara vritti throughout the waking state? What about dream and sleep state? We can't say akhandakara vritti. Now, vritti means just a thought. So it's not the thought that I'm free. the Jivan Mukta has. The Jivan Mukta knows, despite the thought, I am free. I am not attaching to the thought. So I am free. Then, so that is the idea. So what about in the dream sleep state? Sleep state, one is one with Bhagavan anyway. Anyway. So even Ajnani is Jnani in sleep because one is one with Bhagavan. There is oneness. So sleep state is not an issue. In dream state, the Jnani, even though the Jnani may have some dreams, the Jnani does not take the dreams seriously. It's just like the Jnani does not take the world even seriously. What is the world? A projection, as though projection of Bhagavan, the inward projection, does not take it seriously. It doesn't mean there is no Vikalpa, but the Vikalpa is falsified in the wake of knowledge. Vikalpa means divisions. Divisions or differences are there, but they don't become painful divisions. This body, mind, senses is built to perceive only the limited things. How can one be aware of everything as Chit? Is it because everything is a vritti, and that vritti is possible because of Chit? You got it. This is a very nice understanding. Yes, everything comes to be known to me, everything in the Jagat, through a pramana, sight, hearing, inference, etc. Pratyaksha, Anumana, all these pramanas are there, they come to be known. In the operation of this pramana, there is vritti vyapti. Vritti vyapti means, like if I want to perceive this pen, what happens? The eyes, the mind is alive, the mind has word the pen, a pen vritti has formed in the mind. I see a pen already. I may not see this pen, but one pen, I know what pen is. The pen has come in the mind. Then, as it were through the eyes, this knowledge, the vritti, in the form of a thought, goes and embraces the pen and brings the knowledge back. The act of going out and understanding this is pen is called vritti vyapti. And then when the knowledge of this is pen comes back, it has to eliminate all other pens that have come in the mind, big pen, small pen, pink pen, yellow pen, green pen. Why? What is this? White pen. So then, in the perception of this pen, what happens? I dispense with all the other things. This is called phala vyapti. Two-pronged operation, vritti vyapti, the going out and finding out what that thing is, and then phala vyapti, therefore coming to the conclusion, this is pot, ayam ghataha, iyam lekhika, this is pen, etc. So therefore, this is a two-pronged approach for every object, but in the knowledge of the subject, only one operation is enough. What is that? Vritti vyapti. Akhandakara vritti floods the mind, but then since Brahman is myself alone, there is nothing to say this is Brahman. There is no object there. All there is the subject. So phala vyapti does not and need not take place. The second operation in the cognition of objects which is there is not there in the subject, in the cognition of the subject, because the subject is recognized as free, whole, and more than anything, self-evident, self-revealing I, does not need to be revealed. This being said, you have understood correctly that the vritti has two components. What is that? One is object of thought, the other is status of thinker. And I'm neither the object of thought, and the thinker then gives way to drinker, eater, sleeper, all these things. What am I? That chit, which is consciousness, which lends itself to be the thinker, which lends itself to be the object of thought. In reality, it is neither thinker nor object of thought. That without which there is no vritti is possible to be present. that without which no thinker is possible to be present, and that chit, which is neither vritti, nor thinker, nor the object of thought. Very nice. Where get the karma? Where do the karmas get stored? Sukshma Sharira or Karana Sharira? Sukshma Sharira. Because karmas are under constant reshuffle. This is the doubt, because karmas are constantly reshuffling in a dormant causal body. Don't understand. Causal body, don't worry. Even though it looks mystifying, it's Atma Ajnana. So karmas where means I can't give the location. Why? It is secret. Yeah. Nobody is supposed to know except Chitragupta. So karmas are accrued to the ahankara, really. Karmas, if they don't have a locus, if they were to have a locus, it's the exact same place where the ajnanam is located, but not the causal body, ahankara. So if supposing, because the ajnani claims to be the karta, claims to be the bhokta, and therefore reaps the what's its name? Reaps the benefits or the sorrows of the karma phala, as it might be. So there is no locus here, because it's all subtle. Where will we find the locus? Can you explain one more time why the infallible is Ishvara is preferred above Ishvara is the infallible? Yes. Infallible is Ishvara. When I say, then it's an objective statement. Because yatra infallible bhavati, tatra Ishvarasya presence asti. So wherever there is the presence of the infallible, that is to be understood as Ishvara. Infallible means inevitable. Inevitable in my everyday language would mean what? That which I cannot change. That is where we are supposed to see Ishvara. So to answer, even the previous one of the questions, how to deal with this pain? Ishvara is the pain. See it as Ishvara. More pain, more the presence of Ishvara in my life. More difficulties, more Ishvara. This is how we have to Ishvaraize it. Ishvara is the pain. Ishvara is the sorrows, if it's emotional pain. If it's physical pain, see Ishvara in the pain. Why? Because I cannot do much about it. See Ishvara as the pain in the pain. And so when I do that, then it becomes very, very clear that which is wherever there is infallibility, the presence of Ishvara can be found. I have to accept that. I have to accept that which I cannot accept. Ayyo, that's terrible. That's very difficult. You're yourself saying that you cannot accept, and we are saying you have to accept. How to accept? Can you accept? No.